All right. Thank you everyone for joining. And I suspect a couple of people will join a little bit later. I only had about 2 weeks to prepare for this. But we had about 100 and I don't know, 20, this is it right here. 132 people that want to attend. So we don't see 132 people here, but this is the group that I expected. So no love lost. So today we're going to talk about a couple different things, but the core of it is really about how can we create systems with personalization. And they have a lot of automation going on. They have a lot of chat GPT going on, a lot of those things, but it's missing more than often the human component. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, and it's good. Oh, someone's in Memphis. Barbecue and Elvis. There you go, Larry. And then Newton, Panama, Newtown. I said Newton. So I'm not quite used to being using Zoom, so I'll do the best I can. But today is really about creating content, using ChatGPT, a primer, increasing engagement. And that's a big thing too. A lot of times we'll put a lot of time in creating our content, but then we get no engagement. And there's things that you can do with your content to increase visibility, but there's also a couple of little things that you can do to promote other people's posts, and they can promote your posts as well. LinkedIn campaigns and outreach. That's another big thing. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with systems for different types of outreach, whether it be connecting, engaging with an active post, or boosting an event. So typically I'll get close to about 150 to about 300 people. If I have about 4 weeks, I can do that on every event possible. So if I have an event once a month, as long as I have that leeway, I can get those many people. And there's a lot of advantages of doing that, because once people register, they could be moved towards having conversations, email list, reminders, you name it. So usually what happens is I'll have a lurker that watches my content for about 3 or 4 months. And then what happens is they'll take a look at one of my shows and they'll say, oh, I kind of want to work with this guy, either on a partner level or a client level or whatever has to happen. So we just mentioned event management, and I'm referring to virtual events, and then creating personalized videos. We actually created a product called Scoop, and I want to show it to you. It's not quite ready, but I want to get you guys kind of excited about the ability to personalize your video on the fly to reduce your time and increase your conversion rate. So the first thing we want to talk about is how to create content. And one thing I have is a style guide. And the style guide is kind of an SOP where it's kind of like an SOP where you can go ahead and see what are other good looking templates. So what I don't believe in is reinventing the wheel every single time. So I don't know how long it takes everyone to create content, but I don't ever spend more than 35, 40 minutes from start to end. That includes creating the slides, creating the content, getting the content approved, and getting it all out. So in the past, it would take me a long time to develop good content. And we discovered Canva, and it gets better every single year. But the trick is to find styles that work with you, where you can change, reuse, and find similar styles so you can plug in that content. So a lot of these things are really about, how do I look professional enough? How do I solve an immediate pain? And how do I convey that message very clearly? And so the first thing I have right here is a style guide. If you're interested in having that guide, what I'm going to do at the end of this meeting, I'll save this chat, and anyone who wants it, I'll go ahead and send them a link via email and a DM for it. So if you're interested in the style guide, and I'm not going to go through all of it because we only have like 50 minutes for this whole presentation, but it's literally a style guide where it's a Google document where you can slide down and say, hey, I like these templates, and here are some good looking Canva
Yes.
templates. And you can take that. Hey, if you aren't speaking, if you can put
Good, what's
yourself
up?
on mute, that would be great. So if you want that, go ahead and type in um, uh, style guide, and I'll go ahead and send you a message on that. But the idea is, so if you want that, you can. So it's, I think it's about, Lisa, how many pages is that document? About 20 pages or something?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah. So what it is they're actually templates that I tend to like in general. But the second thing is when you click on the link to go to that template, Canva does something very interesting. It shows you all the other templates are very similar. And so I say you pick one that said 5 steps for doing something. And so they'll bring in different templates and different styles that may be more towards your liking. And the third thing is using ChatGPT to kind of create that content. And I don't go by the ChatGPT stuff. I use that as a first layer. So it produces that original content based on the requirements of those 5 steps that we produce. And then we can tighten those up. So I think that ChatGPT is great, but it only does about, I don't know, 70% of the work. There's a lot of times where we get some content out and there's 5 steps. And I find that well, step 3 is totally wrong. And so a human needs to go in there and make those changes. One thing I want to do right now is, Lisa, I can allow you to talk. Do you want me to show the other PDF about ChatGPT?
Yes, you can show, please, if that's okay with you. Although
Yeah.
I can show. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I have it ready for you. If you want to
Oh,
talk through this and tell me next slide, we're going to spend about 4 minutes on this. But if you want this guide, this actually walks you through how to use ChatGPT for free and how
yeah.
to set certain things up. So if you want this one, just to type in ChatGPT in the chat, and then we'll get back to you and send you this whole slide presentation.
Okay, just go to the next slide, Troy.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about the ethical use of OpenAI, which I think Troy already touched up. You just can take on the whole content and not try to rewrite it. So you just have to give it your personality, have some things that you have experienced yourself, and then you can make it valuable for your audience. Let's just go to the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the ethical one. Just go slide down.
Mm-hmm.
So use cases for ChatGPT, you can use it for SEO content. You can also help to communicate with your clients and prospects more effectively in terms of maybe email. If you need to structure an email, you can use Notion AI, you can use ChatGPT. So we won't only just talk about ChatGPT, we'll talk about other AI softwares that can go hand in hand with ChatGPT to help you, even when you want to reformat the content or just have a different tone. You can generate ideas, brainstorm solutions. You can learn new skills as well. And yeah, you can also have fun. You can just have a friendly conversation with AI, even if you want it to be personal or something. So
Yes.
this command is a bit long. So
Yeah, we
it
don't
is
need to
the
go through it all. If you can just give the highlights of it, and the people that want the document later, they can definitely request it.
Yes, so this command is one that I use for creating content and content topics. So what I've done is I've been very specific of what I want the AI to produce. So I'm a business expert, it knows that. So it also knows my level of English fluency, and then we give it the main goal. So this AI that we are using, it is using ChatGPT 4, so it has access to the internet. So you'll ask it to give you ideas based on the internet and what it does. So the first one is talking about the audience. And then this one will deep dive into the product or the service or the value that you're providing to your audience. So it also goes deep down to find competitors, sees how you can improve that, and then it will find 20 content topics that your audience would like. So in order to use ChatGPT for free, you can use it with Microsoft Bing. I use Hemingway app to rewrite it for ChatGPT. So Hemingway will help you to have it like a grade 4 or grade 5 or grade 7 so that the content isn't so. I mean, ChatGPT is a bit verbose. It has all this words
It
like
is
in
very
this,
verbose. You're absolutely
yes,
right. It's
yeah,
so when someone replies to my post and they use ChatGPT, I know it. And I actually did. I'm going to do a post on please stop using ChatGPT to reply to my post. You know,
yeah,
because the point of replying to a post is not that's not I don't think that's a good use of chat GPT because that the purpose of that is real conversation. And so it's a major difference between using ChatGPT to structure your content and to use it to act as a person that's replying because you're not really building that relationship.
sure, sure. So yeah, Hemingway will help you to write it like a grade 5 level so that you know what sentences to rewrite. Copy AI will help you. Say you have a blog and you've created the whole blog and you just want to repurpose it for something else. So Copy AI will rewrite for you that blog in a way that is fast and they'll just change a few things for you. Quillbot as well will help you to rewrite ChatGPT content. So Google and people as well have become they can know when content is being created by ChatGPT. So Quillbot will help you to just rewrite that and change that. So this software will help you work together with ChatGPT to use valuable content.
Awesome. I see a couple of messages coming in there, and if there are messages coming in here, let me know if you have questions. So if you want to connect with anyone here, feel free to drop your LinkedIn profile, and they can connect with you. I think everyone knows where mine is, but I think I should add mine too, shouldn't I? Just in case. So go ahead and add that. So I'm Troy. All right, feel free to connect. All right. And let me see a couple other things here. Oh, Jean Michel, ChatGPT, Mercy, Troy, and Lisa. Appreciate that. So
Yeah.
if anyone had any questions, just general questions on ChatGPT or open discussion, feel free. This is not like a high pressure situation, but a lot of people are using it. And the problem is they're using it wrong. And so we have to use it where it helps us and not where it just fills in space. So we talked about creating content in general, but we didn't really talk about the structure of the content. And usually, um, uh, these 4 bullet points help quite a bit when you're structuring it. So sometimes you're producing content, and to be honest, a lot of people's content just suck, and it's so easy to get to produce better content. So how I look at it is if I create a piece of content, I want to figure out, did I help someone today, or did I do something that was beneficial to someone? Or can I figure out those common issues of my audience and solve their pain or lessen their pain? For example, if you have 5 steps to lose weight and your audience are a bit overweight and you're targeting that for exercise stuff, and I'm making this up, of course, you want actionable items. So if you want 5 steps, they should be able to take those 5 steps and be very specific with it and interact with it. And so I do a lot about communication, a lot about systems, a lot about being human, and maybe certain things that happen to me, or sometimes I'm a little vulnerable and I tell them what I screwed up. How did I make a mistake? And then how did I solve that mistake? And so people want to know that you are also human. They want to relate to you in some way. And that even goes down from your post to your LinkedIn profile. Of course, you don't want to, put crazy stuff in there like that's a little too extreme, but you do want to let people know that you have similarities. I'll give you an example. I was in the United States Army. I'm a single father. I was heavily in IT and now rolling back into a lot of IT projects since we have our own SaaS product we've been developing and websites that we're creating and stuff like that. And so a lot of those people fall in some of those categories. And I also tell them that I was a terrible dater in real life. And I had type A traits and I still do, but I was the type of person that saw something, I just went after it. And usually that's not a good thing. And so I used that experience of my mistakes and developed a way to slow date for businesses. So old fashioned slow dating is when you get to know people and you slow down and people feel comfortable with you to engage with you. So we create a hook, simple explanation, a list breakdown, and then your CTA, your call to action. So let's take a look at maybe some content real quick. I'll go ahead and share. And I'll grab a post. Matter of fact, let me pick one right here. And this has nothing to do with LinkedIn because I'm all about LinkedIn. So I'll try not to do too much LinkedIn stuff here. But I talked about 4 random things to think about over the weekend. And so a post like this usually happens on a Friday. And you got a weekend vibe, you got 4 things are happening, and I break it down. I also have a little video on it, and it's some voice around it. And I just tell them those 4 things. So number 1 is, you don't really know how good you have it until it's gone. And it's kind of a trigger where you should appreciate what you have. So be thankful for good people in your lives and for the things that we do have. I recently found out that this is a magnitude more valuable than stop thinking about negative versus positive. This is something to think about. So if you stop thinking about negative stuff, just that, it's much more valuable than trying to fill it in with positive stuff. And it's kind of a weird thing, but it's actually true because when you think about negative stuff, it eats up a lot of your energy. You could just dust it off and move on, keep it moving, always progress, and blah, 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 right? And so this is usually going to be a video, and I'll do the 4 steps, or I'll do a simple video like this, or I'll do a set of slides. Now my CTA, when we talked about CTA, it's really about just connecting with that person and telling them have a wonderful weekend. However, you could have a CTA call to action is as a question and saying, how do you spend your weekends, or what do you think about this subject? You could have a CTA saying, for more tips, feel free to follow me. You could have something along the lines of, hey, if you run across this quite often, if it's an issue that you're solving, feel free to reach out. My booking link is on my LinkedIn profile. And so you're always showing stuff that's positive, that's solving problems. And once you do that, you have that little hits of dopamine, feel good type of energy, and it promotes you in a way that every time they think of you, it's a positive versus a negative. And so once you get in that mindset, once you have something a little longer format content like these events, they actually get to know you. And those are when the buyers and the partners kind of converge and come out. And that's where business is actually made. So those are the things that talk about the CTA. Now, the other thing, and this is for our guest speaker, Ed, which is a good friend of mine, when you're engaging with other people's posts, is one tip. If you're posting something, you might want to engage with other people's stuff 15 minutes prior, because the algorithm will let you know you're out there, and the person seeing your post more likely to see your stuff. But there's something called additional efforts. It's very difficult. And I'll go ahead and stop the share here. In general, it's very difficult to get stardom with us mortals. So we're just regular people trying to get a message out there, get information out there to engage with other people. And certain people do a lot better than others. So I want to introduce Ed Fortu. And he has a couple of things that he would like to talk about that will help him to help you to actually engage and get engaged with some of your posts. Ed?
Yeah, and thanks for the notification. I need to unmute my mic. Otherwise, if I started talking, people would see my mouth moving and like, hey, I can't do it.
Well, to be honest with you, Ed, I just happened to roll over that area because I'm not very good at Zoom.
Well, it
I was
worked.
like, I'll just push it.
It worked. Everything you said, I agree with, especially the way you should engage with people. I think too many people try to jump on well, what do they call it? Pitch slapping, where they're constantly pitching their products to people, just jumping right into a sale without getting to know the person at all. I do email deliverability, and I have people pitching me on email deliverability stuff all the time. I'm like, look at my profile, dude. I don't need any help. I'm the one who helps. Anyway, one of the biggest challenges I found with LinkedIn and all social media platforms is getting my message out to enough people, reach. Uh, all the platforms limit your reach. When you post, you may reach anywhere from 1 to 5% of your connections, which is amazingly low. People just live with it. I ask people, when you post, how much time do you spend posting or creating a post, and then you put it out there and nobody engages with it. You don't get any likes, you don't get any comments. I've had people tell me, well, it doesn't matter, I just get my content out there, it helps create credibility. And I say, if you don't have any engagement on your post, it creates negative credibility, because it's
Yeah,
telling
I would agree. Yeah.
nobody cares. Nobody cares about your post. And if nobody cares, why bother posting it? Why spend the hour putting the post together and trying to get it out there if nobody sees it? So one of the things that we came up with was a solution to that. And I've looked at all of the, not all of them, but a lot of people that get a lot of engagement. And what are they doing? How are they able to get there? How have I been able to see guys that, and uh, Troy, you know one guy, Matt Lenhoff, who works for Mike. He had a little under 2,000 followers. 8 months later, he had 25,000 followers. So I asked him, what did you do? And it was very simple. He reached out to influencers, commented on their posts, kind of befriended them. Some of those people then saw him commenting and engaging with the influencer. They came over to his post, and then he had agreements with a lot of these guys. Like, I will post, it was unspoken agreement. I'll engage with your content if you engage with mine. Unspoken agreement. That's what they did. And because the other people are engaging with their posts, then they got a lot more people engaging and seeing their posts. Their views just went through the roof. So what I decided to do is create the same type of process, but eliminate the uncertainty and make it more certain. Instead of an unspoken agreement where I agree to like and engage with your post, if you agree to like and engage with mine, it's an agreement that we have. And I've gone to people, we agree to do that. And the results have been pretty incredible. We've been able to double and triple views almost immediately. Some people have called it a pod. It really isn't a pod, it's a support group. And we actually do business together. We refer business to one another. It goes well beyond what a traditional pod would be, but we do it all within LinkedIn. So it's kind of LinkedIn approved. I won't go too much deeper into it, other than the big result is you can double and triple your views literally on your very first post. And it's designed specifically for people that are involved in the B2B service provider niche, because we want the people, if I'm engaging on your post, you're engaging with mine, and all it is it's a like. It takes less than a minute to do per day. Troy, it's like what is it? 30 seconds maybe, if that, to do it.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier than these posting parties.
Oh
And
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with the posting party, but one of the issues with some of the posting parties is that you have the same people all the time, and where some of the systems that you're putting together, this I guess someone says unspoken agreement. If you're interested in Ed reaching back out to you, I would say type in spoken agreement. Right, because it's opposite unspoken. So if you're interested, he'll get back to you, and then he'll save the chat and reach back out to you, and then you can have a separate conversation on it. But there's a lot of ways to boost your agreement. I'm going to put it right there. SPO, spoken. I can spell.
And it's not for everyone. That's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't take very long to do. It literally takes under a minute to do, versus if you're a part of a pod or any of those other things, it could take 2 or 3 hours. And I just don't have 2 or 3 hours to do that. The last thing I'll say is everyone that is involved in the group has to be a B2B service provider, because we want to have my network matching up with your network. And so if you're getting more of your posts viewed by people in my network, they should be targeted. They should be people that you want to do business with. And the same that goes for everyone that's in the group. So if you're interested, just leave a comment. I'll get back to you, and I'll send you a video that explains exactly how it works. And if you're interested, you can go from there. I don't, this is about the biggest pitch you're going to get from me. And don't worry,
Ed is very low key.
I will not chase you. I will not hound you at all. I ask once, if people want to do it, then they'll say, okay, let's go. If they're not, they're not.
Yeah. Like I said, just type in spoken agreement and he'll reach back out to you, and you guys can connect later. So there are other ways of doing stuff. Of course, the posting parties are pretty good. The problem is you get the same people all the time. You end up getting after a while, you kind of have a stalemate on some of those. And there are different kind of posting parties that are helpful. But he's right; it takes some time to do that. Matter of fact, Lisa is my assistant. She runs my posting parties sometimes on some of the client stuff, and it's very time consuming. It's like 3 hours a day. Lisa, how long is it? Yeah,
It's 3 hours a day, and that's Monday.
So it's a lot of work. So people pay for that. But another thing too is, even when you're getting engagement and people are seeing your stuff, you still need to go back as a human and interact with that stuff. So if someone puts a comment on it, you take a look at that comment and you say, wow, this person has said this thing about what I'm talking about. Is this worth having a conversation over? And so there's more work involved. So it's not like a wham bam thing where everything is done so instantly. But networking, that's what we're really doing. Networking takes work. That's why there's networking. The word work is in there. And a lot of people just want stuff done for them, and they want it done for free. And so the people that are very successful are the ones that know how to network properly. And part of that networking portion is how I can provide value to other people. And a lot of times it's perceived value to them. So what's valuable to me is not necessarily valuable to them. But if you can lessen their pain and help them get where they need to go, then fine. And I always think you should do that like for free. Like if I have a meeting with someone and it's something that can be easily solved, I said, have you tried this? Because this will help you out quite a bit. I don't really charge for that because it's a 20-minute meet and greet. But the result of those interactions and through this networking is that, they look at you, they'll never talk bad about you. They'll look at you, and if they have a budget to solve their larger problems, you'll be top of the list. I had a meeting just last week, and we were talking about something about in-person networking, which is great. And what I did was, he was like, yeah, I'm trying to get better at this, in-person networking. And so I had a business card. I don't know if I have it in front of me. I don't know where my wallet is, but it has a QR code on it. And I said, I just did this little QR code on my card. And if you scan it, it'll go to my like link tree. But I have a very visual link tree. It looks really good. And it's done by I think it's HOPP. And so it's very visual. And so I said, you want to be the most interesting person at the networking meeting? I said, set that up. And he said, I love that idea. I said, you know what, Troy, I know a guy that's killing it on Instagram, but he needs a LinkedIn channel. Let me run an introduction. So let's talk about what happened during that conversation. I just provided value, how he could do his job better. He says, you know what? And he connected the dots, and he's sending a potential client my way. Now, will this person be my client? I don't know. I mean, but if there's a 5 or 10% chance, let's do it, because all I need is like one client a month to make my, whatever I need to do. So I think content is the same way. You should always provide content as valuable. And if they see it as valuable, they're much higher, much larger likelihood of them interacting with you in the future. I'll go ahead and share my screen again. Oh, Lawrence had to leave. Oh, she had a meeting. Well, appreciate it. So those are the additional efforts that we talked about. Definitely reach out to him, Ed, on that, and he'll get back to you. And so the other thing, and we're talking about a lot of stuff here, is campaigns and outreach. So let's talk about what you can do with campaigns. So campaign is a generic term that means, how can I do something and create a system around it or systematize it, whether it be a software or a manual process or however you want to use, right? So I use a system called Integrate. It's very well put together, and it actually integrates in a lot of different tools. And sometimes we do very, very manual processes, but sometimes we send thank you messages for end of event. So if I want to create a campaign, I'm old school. I'll go to a Google document and create all the campaigns I want and how I want them and how I want to connect with them and how I want to send them a welcome video, how I want to roll off of LinkedIn, perhaps go to email if appropriate, and even after email, if it's appropriate, send a text. So we want to create more of an omnipresence, if you will, because just because they connected with you on LinkedIn doesn't mean that they use LinkedIn on a normal basis. So this is kind of a visual on some of the content that I develop for the campaigns. Now, it could be a connection campaign, which means I want to connect with new people that's in my ICP or someone I want to network with. So a networking possibility would be other people that have podcasts. So I have a show, and now I will start having a podcast because I have another group that's converting my stuff into podcasts, and they're updating my YouTube stuff and all that. And so I may want to connect with other people on their podcast because I really should be on other people's stuff at least once a week. That way I can touch other people's network and I can get out there and that sort of thing. And I get more content out there. I can help more individuals, So that's one thing. That's one kind of connection request. Another is if you're targeting your ICP or ICPs, plural, you said, you know what, the people that have the most pain that I could solve are these individuals. And you can easily use that with Sales Navigator and create systems around that. Another thing is event management. This is something that can be almost automated, at least 50% of it. So you have an event, a virtual event, and no one shows up. You're doing all this work for absolutely no reason because no one's showing up. And I think Ed brought that up. Why are you doing something if it doesn't result in a positive outcome? Well, we have systems that guarantee you the ability to have people register. We actually reply back to them. We touch base with them, and we try to provide value or set up their event where it's valuable to that individual. And so we always get between, excuse me, between 100 to 300 people on the registrations. Now, on the registrations on this event, I think we only had 127, but I just started it 2 weeks ago. So I really didn't do any work because it's the beginning of the year and all this other stuff. So it's usually pretty good. So one of my methods is to provide 3 to 5 pieces of content a week, and you'll have lurkers and people that like your content, and then they'll go to your show or your event or your monthly event or whatever it is, and they get to see you and they get to see your personality. And so, and a lot of times that's when the buyers come out. And so you convert that quite a bit on the shows because you get a larger bit of audience, or you get a more intimate setting. You can also work on your posting campaigns. Now, we post our stuff manually because we do a lot of slides. I think LinkedIn calls them documents. We'll do a lot of videos and things like that. And so we post campaigns, but you can actually have posting campaigns. So let's say, for example, and this is number 3, we have a post and say, oh, I got 74 likes on this one, 74 reactions to it. And I want to thank these people for commenting on it about this thing, right? Whatever the post was. So I don't think I would hit all of them. You can automate that easily. It's easily done. But you can also figure out who are these people. This is my brother, by the way. He has the same name as me, believe it or not. But figure out who I want to talk to and why I want to talk to them. So once you have a post, you can take a look at the reactions, and it's usually on the right side of the post, and see all the people there, and you can actually send them a DM for thanking. So you might want to create a general reply, and then when you paste it, change it and talk to that individual, and either thank them or continue that conversation. So a lot of times you want to take the conversation that's on the post and move it off the post to either a DM, an email, a meeting, or whatever it converts to. And I get quite a few meetings out of this. So usually the conversation on the post is, yeah, I have this pain, or I try to do this. And you can identify those individuals that say, hey, if you want to solve that, I'm open for a conversation. And so those generate really good meetings because you've identified an issue, and then you have said, hey, here's an olive branch, open to a conversation that makes sense. And a portion of those will actually book meetings with you. So those are about campaigns. Now, let me show you if I can find I have too many screens here. Let me show you a system in general. So I don't believe in message after message. I believe maybe in a connection, a welcome video, and one touch point. So basically 2 messages, and I try to leave people alone. I figure if they haven't replied after they saw a video and message, they probably didn't even see the DM, and it's time to kind of move off of the DM to maybe an email or whatever you need to do. But this system can connect to just about everything. So you have an SMS dialer built in if you want it, a built-in CRM. This is more pipeline type drives. You have Pipedrive, all the CRMs you can push to if you want. I tend to be old school and push some of my stuff to a spreadsheet so I can keep track of it visually with colors and drop downs and things like that. But you have a lot of integrations. Let's take a look at some campaigns here. And so people think, oh, I can only do one campaign. Well, you are limited to volume of what you want, and you want to stay under a certain volume, but you have the ability to use a lot of searches. Say, I want to target people that are doing marketing services on major states that just got a new job in 90 days. I'm just giving you an example, right? And some convert better than others. If I open this up, this just started, so this is probably information is not right. I just moved to Las Vegas, so I want to reach out to other consultants here because I want to network. I want to know what's happening here in Sin City. Look at that. This started 1 week ago, and I have a 54% acceptance rate on those connections. So that's really good. And I'm just getting this started here, you know. Let's look at when I turned off. This is a campaign that supported this event, and it's the InMail. So I have the ability to figure out who has a paid advanced LinkedIn account. Sales Navigator, there's like 5 other paid accounts. Those people are paying money for LinkedIn, are more likely to pay attention to LinkedIn because they're putting money into it. And maybe there's a group that I like to reach out to. So I don't want to target the whole group. So you go to all these LinkedIn groups, and there's thousands of people. You don't want to blindly gunshot, a invite. You want to figure out those ideal people that would actually benefit from that event, pare that down, and figure out who has the InMail option that's open. I call it open mail. I don't know if they call that anymore, but our free InMail. And so the system is able to detect that. So only pull the people out that you can send a free InMail to, so it doesn't eat your credits up. So that's another way you can increase stuff. I turn it off, of course, because the event's already happening. And this is the podcast one. So I'm connecting with these people because they have podcasts that are within, certain things that I do. IT, health, marketing, how to do things, those type of podcasts, how to get things done, how to convert. This has a 65% acceptance rate, really high. I see certain women do even higher that on a normal basis, but this is just a connection request that goes out, nothing special, but the message makes sense. I say, I know you have a podcast about A, B, and C. I have a show, love to connect. I'm actually looking to get on other people's podcasts. So I just tell them directly. So there's no money exchange in this, but it's a way to actually network, get to know people, and put it on a low tier of requirement. Now, I'm not going to go through, all these things and the dashboard and all that other stuff, but I think you get the idea that systems are really important. And I'll go ahead and stop the share for this. And so now we're talking about systems, and I'll just give you a quick screenshot on this here. I'll share it real quick. And now we're talking about systems, right? So this is mine, but before I want to talk, I want to introduce you to Butch. Butch is a really good guy. He's in Atlanta. I moved not too long ago from Atlanta. I'm trying to figure out how to stop the share. I have too many screens. Butch, if you want to unmute it, Butch has an interesting way of managing some of his tasks. And the best way to do that is to figure out what are my day-to-day tasks. What I tend to do is I have a very manual process, and I'll have a day-to-day process, and I select what my day-to-day process is. So I want to get done the most I can within an hour or hour and a half or whatever I allocate to that. I put that on my calendar. I take these tasks and I just do them. But Butch has a product that tells you what you need to do next, which is actually very helpful. And he was telling me that he's been picking up quite a few clients, and they've been getting some really good results. So anything that will help you focus on what your tasks are is a big help in business and in LinkedIn. Butch, would you let me check. Oh, I'm sorry. Larry has asked me a question. Troy, is your software, is it specifically LinkedIn based? Well, that software integrate is, but yes and no. It works on LinkedIn. It works for email. It works for texting. It works for sending to other systems. So it's very, very powerful, but the key is setting it up right. So you have a lot of systems. I'm sure a lot of them are good. Some of them are probably terrible. Integrate is one of the best because you can visually do things, and I didn't even get into it. I'll just give you, kind of a highlights of it. But the key is designing your campaigns properly, creating your LinkedIn profile where it's identifying your ICP. So it's not one thing. It's setting up your whole branding in order to bring people in. Jean-Michel mentioned something. Cool free app to create templates for LinkedIn messaging and Gmail in Chrome Store. It's called Magical. Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, anything tools are pretty good. How can we automate reply, comments, and likes? That's a good question. You can use tools that have built-in chat GPT. I don't like them. I think the manual process is better because I can identify chat GPT replies. So that's my personal. Caesar, 54% in connection rate. Wow, that's outstanding. Yeah, thank you. Well, not all the campaigns do that well. I've seen certain clients get 85, 90%. So if you want to slow down and you're targeting certain people to connect with, that's part of my day-to-day process. You may want to pick maybe a few people. And one of the processes, and you want to separate that from many of your automation type stuff because your hands are in the cookie jar. But one of the processes is to identify posts from the people you want to know, either connect with, or you want to connect with their audience, and engage with those individuals on the LinkedIn, on the comments of their post, and do that 2 or 3 times. And if they reply, there's a high probability that they'll connect with you. And your connection message manually could say, hey, John, I saw your post about so-and-so, and I enjoyed the conversation. I would love to connect if it makes sense. So you've moved down from your 20% acceptance rate all the way to 85% because you've already interacted with them before. That's called pre-engagement. All right, I'll stop talking, Butch. My apologies. You can go ahead and unmute. Have at it. There you go.
So as Troy said, and Ed talked about too,
I'm so sorry, Butch. You're cutting in and out. Oh, he's having technical issues.
let me try to do it next week or your next podcast.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Well, I'll give you the overview. He has a tool, and is it a Chrome extension that ties into a larger system? And yes. What it does is it allows you. It has ChatGPT built in, and it has the ability to build your digital twin, which is pretty interesting. So it takes a lot of your content from your profile and some of your content and brings it up so it can develop your style. And it'll allow you to create replies quite quickly. No? He's saying no.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. Well, what it does, so Fist Bump is an AI knowledge base. And the knowledge base we call Twin It. And what Twin is, this is really creative. Twin is your digital twin. And what you do, you go through a series of questions. I got to cheat on this part, but it trains your AI for your tone, your style, your role, your experience, and what your word choices are. So what you can do.
Yeah, I think it cut out again. Sorry about that. Yeah, another thing I liked about it was that it will tell you your next task. So in my day-to-day process, I do this, this, and this, but it'll tell you where you were from last time so you can complete your next task, which is pretty powerful organization-wise. So if you're interested, just type in Fist Bump, and then he'll just reach back out to you and give you some more information on it. The last thing that I want to talk about, and again, afterwards, we'll just have an open conversation, is a product that I'm working on. It's not complete, but I've been working on it for the past 4 or 5 months with a good group of developers and designers. And I'll go ahead and share the screen real quick. And I mentioned it before in a couple of the private groups that I have. But one thing that you want to do to create personalization is actually video. Video is very powerful, especially if you can get it in sync, very short, and move on to the next. So the problem with video is there's not really tools to allow you to do it almost instantly. So they have these things you can use your phone, your mobile app, your LinkedIn app to use it, but it's very cumbersome. And if you're in the mode to actually add personalization, you tend to want to look at the profile, absorb the information for 30 seconds before you send a video. And you want a short video, 30 seconds, 40 seconds long, and you don't want to pitch. You don't want a sales pitch. You want to actually put some effort into how you want to talk to it, and then have a very low threshold. If you have a high threshold, if you ask them to do a bunch of stuff, it's not going to work. So again, put a little effort into it. Now, the application I call Scoop. It's SKOOP. If you're interested on it, we're looking for beta testers. Just type in SKOOP in the chat, and we'll get to you a little bit later. And we're actually working on the interface. We're about a month to 2 months away from launching it. And even when we do launch it, we're not going to launch it publicly. We have a bunch of CRMs and groups of people we'll do in larger quantity to kind of exchange on that. So if you're interested in this, just put that in there and I'll reach back out to you. It's SKOOP, but it's designed for LinkedIn and Gmail for the moment. So LinkedIn was my primary focus, and I wanted to create a tool that was on the fly, personalized short videos. And I wanted to build in several different tools. So videos for one, for Gmail, and then for LinkedIn was the other one, and that's the primary. But I said, well, what other important things do we need to include in there? Well, usually a booking link. So we have a built-in calendar integration where you can add your own calendar link, or you can use our link for free. And so what happens is it ties in with your current calendar system, and it adds it to the video. So once you play the video, you have the little booking calendar interacted inside of the video. Another major issue with some of these systems, if you use them, you had to copy and paste and move the link over. So it's all over. We want to create one system that was easy to organize, so you're able to store as many videos as you want. It's unlimited. The other thing is a lot of these systems, when you click on the video, LinkedIn will show you something that says, hey, you're leaving LinkedIn. Are you sure you want to leave? And people hate that. You get a very high drop rate, especially if it's a newer video. If that happens once, you have a 90% drop rate. And so you want to avoid that. So we fixed that problem and avoided that major technical hurdle. Sometimes you don't want to do a video. It also has the ability to do a voice memo. So you can do voice memo quite quickly on those in case you don't want to do the video. The other thing, it has built-in ChatGPT. Say you want to reply, you can create your own prompts, and then it has the ability to save pre-formatted messages. So I want to create, 10 replies, say, for example, and then I can click the button and it will add that reply in there, and then I can make the change on the fly before I send it. And it has built-in animated GIFs as well. So I want to kind of make a 5-in-1 tool. And the reason I call it Scoop is because that's the only thing I could think of, because the domain names were taken care of. They were very hard to find. And Scoop, the idea is to gather some items at one time. So I'll do a quick demo on that. And this is the current version. I'll just close let me see here. Let's just go to Lisa here. So I may, and it actually puts the image in there as well. And so I may say, oh, let me see. I'm going to expand my current conversation with Lisa. I want to do a video. So I may want to do a video that's vertical, like my phone. I may want to create a horizontal, typical video. I may want to create a square. So whatever one I select, it keeps it on the default. and then I'll click the record button, and it gives me, oh, I don't know if it'll work since I'm on the Zoom. So I think that's the issue that's coming up. So since the Zoom is taking over, I'll go ahead and stop that. It usually puts the video right up in here in the middle, and it creates it. You can change the name. Say, I want to say to Lisa, and so when they go to the video, it's named properly. It add it to the little the message there, and I can just hit send. And what's going to happen, it'll put it inside of there. I can do the same thing with the voice memo. I can grab the link. I can preview the video. I can download it. I can use ChatGPT, animate GIF options, all sorts of stuff. This is a folder structure that I can move around. Now the interface, that I can go to the calendar, that sort of thing, and set the defaults for that. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there, but the key is, how can I get in, do my job, add my personalization, and then move to the next? Because what we don't have is all the time in the world. So we can make more money, but we cannot make more time. And so if you can create products that will actually help your flow and keep it very, very personalized, that's a good thing. Now, this doesn't automate stuff. This doesn't do, this is really personalized kind of information. I got 12 new messages. Oh, fist bump, Scoop, thanks, very good. Yeah, Scoop is a Chrome extension on the outside, but there's systems behind that, and so it'll be pretty simple to use. What I showed you is just in like before we redid our interfaces. All right, so that's what we have to talk about today. I'm actually open to any questions about anything we talked about, and if you want a copy of the actual presentation, just type in presentation and I'll just send you a link to that. So that's pretty much all I have. I do want to say I appreciate everyone. And I hope that you've learned something from this event. So thank you, everyone. I'll stay on for about 5 minutes and then I'll drop off since we're past top of the hour. See you, David.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Caesar.
Great presentation, Corey. I was driving.
Oh, all right.
Loud rain.
Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that.
Right.
All right.
I'll get the thing for the bit that I missed earlier, like the first few minutes.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and send you a link. I'll put it up on a private channel on YouTube.
All right. Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a great afternoon.
All right. Thank you. So Ed, any last words of wisdom? Because it looks like we're good to go.
Thank you, Troy.
You're welcome, Thomas.
Oh, this is all good. I'm very interested in trying Scoop.
I know. I saw a gap. That's what it was, because video gets 5 to 10 times conversion rate over regular text. Personalized video. That's a big thing. And if you can solve that problem in an easy way, to go at one after another, you get much better conversion. So that's why we went over to the CRMs and the automation platforms first, because they already have the users. Right. We already vetted that stuff out. So it was pretty cool.
So this is kind of a more efficient version of what you used to do before with the phone that you put in front of your face, and then while you're talking to the camera, but you're looking at the profile. Yeah,
because everyone's in front of a computer. And they're not going to do business on a phone. Well, some people will, but it's very awkward for a lot of those, especially if you're in sales or marketing or if you're running a business. I mean, setting that up is, you got on the phone, although I love it, the issue is you got to make sure the settings don't turn itself off. Right. The power settings, so your screen goes blank, and then you got to position it, and you got to push buttons like this and reposition and all that stuff. Here, if you're doing video after video, it's already set up because everyone has a camera on there. And on the same tool, you have the ability to do voice memos, animate GIFs, reply any way you want, built-in ChatGPT. You can put ChatGPT prompts in there, anything you need. So I think it'll be hopefully be pretty successful. I think it'll be a lot easier than some of the consulting things we do because we don't have to convince. So the business model was actually pretty nice, where you can earn money and not have to work, versus the consulting. There's a lot of hand holding, you know. So
Really,
yeah, you know how that is. So
exactly how it is.
yeah. Oh, okay. So do I get an invite from you from Facebook or?
You will get an email from me today. I just have gotten swamped with stuff. And then the Facebook page is going to get set up sometime today or tomorrow, and then you'll get an invite for that.
Awesome. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna download, let's see, save chat. Awesome. All right. Thank you very much for letting us know about what you're doing, Ed. Thank you, Lisa, and everyone else. I'll go ahead and drop off. Have a great day.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.